If you are a sensitive person, meaning an empath, meaning someone who's very giving, very caring, or if you are on this spiritual journey, then you have a tendency to fall into the state of thinking that you have to be the healer or the savior of everyone around you. And when you fall into this mindset, you fall into always being the one who has to get the shit end of the stick, the one who always has to be the mature one, the one who always has to look out for everyone who doesn't want to help themselves. And on today's video, I want to share with you how to stop being the healer and the savior towards people who are choosing not to help themselves or see their own triggers and shadows. So everything I share with you in today's video is going to help those who are people pleasers, who are givers, and those who have the power to heal, because it's not your job to save the world. It's your job to be an example to people who do not know how to heal or see themselves. Gooch, beautiful beings. Welcome back, Awakened Ones, on another episode on Embracing Ascension series with your homegirl, Brittany Fontanez. If you're new to this channel, so glad to have you here. If you've been on this journey with me so far, gang, only love. You know who you is. Before we get started in today's video, please hit that like button, subscribe to this channel. I'll greatly appreciate it. And don't forget to hit that notification button so you'll be notified on every video that I put out. But I am an energetic activator here to assist you upon this journey to awaken the things you have yet to see, so you can be the better version of who you are meant to be. Other than that, you guys, please go check out my Etsy shop where I make dream catchers for cars and for homes, and also I make necklaces, and I do render services as a healing course to assist you upon your healing journey to awaken to your purpose, as well as I do tarot readings and I do Reiki practicing services as well. And also, please go follow me, my homegirl Jessica Frias, on Spotify, as our podcast is called Mystifying Reality, as we help you guys understand deeper levels of awareness to see things in the world that we were not taught to be seen. So other than that, beautiful beings, let's jump right into how to stop being the healer. Now, I know that there's not a lot of people who are awakened to the spiritual journey. So this video is for people who are on this journey, who are beginning this journey, or who are just empathetic, giving, and very caring. Now, the one thing I have learned in my journey from being a giver, a lover, an empath, is that I absorb energies, like everyone's energy in my environment, so quickly to the point I take on that responsibility. And it makes my energy heavy to the point that I end up idealizing myself as that energy or as my own, when really it's just frequencies that I pick up. Now, when you are energetically sensitive, you pick up on people around you, their emotions, their thoughts, to the point you think it's your own, but really you have the power to heal. You have the power to be some sort of safety net for people who don't know how to be their own caretaker, their lover, their best friend, or even their own savior. And when this happens, we have a tendency to believe that we always have to be of assistance without needing to receive. And this is where we fall into not allowing ourselves to see the power that we hold and learning how to protect it. We have to protect this sacred energy that we hold, because I'm going to be honest with you, people who have the power to heal, people who have the power to be blessings to other people's life, as the sunshine to people's darkness, we have a source of resilience that makes us see life in a way where our physical circumstances doesn't dismantle our spirit, because we have the tendency to see the optimism and the lesson behind everything, because we know it's here to teach us strength, not here to traumatize us and to suppress what these experiences are trying to teach us. So since we have this power of resilience, a lot of us do not see our worth. A lot of us don't see the power that the divine has gifted us with. And that is the art of discernment, the art of healing, and the art of loving unconditionally, regardless if people hurt us, use us, manipulate us, or if it seems like the world is against us. And since we have this sacred power, we have a tendency to attract unhealed people. And this is where manipulators comes in. This is where I'm going to use this. I hate using this word because it's so overused, but narcissists, because empaths and givers are always tendency to attract narcissistic people, manipulative people, unhealed people. And we fall into the trauma bond and cycle of thinking that we have to seek validation or seek a sense of self-worth by giving, by always being there, by tolerating people's bullshit that don't want to take accountability for their shadow aspects. And the reason why we attract people like this is because me and my friend were talking about this the other day, and it was actually yesterday. It was mind-blowing how she put it, because it's so true. She said the reason why I feel, because me and her relate on such a deep level. Jocelyn, if you're watching this video, I love you, girl. I appreciate you so much. And she's a Pisces, so I always adore, and I feel like I have to protect my Pisceans, you know what I mean? But she said it so clearly and so perfectly. She's like, I feel the reason why we attract unhealed people is because we have the tools to navigate and overcome shadow aspects of ourselves, and to gain the power and the wisdom to overcome fear or scarcity. And when she said that, I was like, that's so fucking true. You know, all my life, I always felt like I was the outcast and the one that people will always opinionate me as the weird one, the rebel, the one who doesn't follow societal ways. And that's very true. But as I went along my journey and I started to grow as a human individual and as a spiritual individual, I didn't recognize my worth. And I always would attract people that would see my worth, but would manipulate it to always take from me. And I didn't see that, because I always thought that I only deserved the worst. So I allowed people to walk all over me. I allowed people to use me. I allowed people to be unappreciative of all the things I gave to them, because they thought that I will tolerate the breadcrumbs that they gave me. But since realizing and doing the inner work to heal my heart, to cleanse my energy and get closer to the divine, I started to recognize the sacred power within me is not something to see as a curse. Because when we're empaths, we think it's a blessing and a curse to be an empath. To be honest, I used to look at it that way, but now I see it as a huge blessing. Because since now I know how to set boundaries, and if you don't know how to set boundaries as a people pleaser and as an empath, I'll leave that video here on how to set boundaries. But when you start to set boundaries and you start to recognize your worth, as I started to do, I started to see that my spirit is so rare that when people encounter me and they're still in the cycle of their trauma and their wounding, and they try to inflict that and project that onto me, and when I end up pulling my energy away and they start recognizing that, they start to see that they can never find another person like me. And this is not to inflate my ego or for you to inflate your ego. This just means you hold the power that's meant to rattle the shadows within people, that's meant to rattle the demons that are irritated by your light that's within other people. And when you start to recognize this, you allow yourself permission to no longer tolerate low vibrational energy, low vibrational people who don't know their worth, people who don't know what they want, and people who are only here to abuse and use. And you guys, I know when you start to see your worth and you start to recognize what you deserve, you start to feel a sense of guilt. Because you feel like you have to heal. You believe you're meant to save the world. You believe you're meant to be like Atlas. And Atlas is the god who held the world upon his shoulders because he thought he had to save the world. It's not your job to be of service to everyone you encounter. It's your job to be an example of what people need to find within themselves. Because I'm a huge believer that Yeshua, what people consider Jesus, I feel Yeshua doesn't want the world to worship him. I believe Yeshua wants us to learn from him so we can discover the divine energy within ourselves, to heal and to not let our spirit be dismantled by this 3D world. And since I started to believe in that, I started to really get closer to that sacred spiritual energy that lies within each and every one of us, that we have the ability to tap into if we're willing to listen to that call. And when you do this, you start to feel a mourning of your old self. When you start to realize your worth, when you start to realize you're not meant to save the world, that's God's job. You're meant to be an example of the divine energy that you could connect to, that is actually flowing within you. When you start to be that example of that and start to recognize that sacred energy that you hold, not only you start to see that you're a blessing, not only that you start to see that you're a light, but you start to mourn this old self of you. And it hurts because you want to be a lover, you want to be a giver. I know a lot of people who are on this spiritual journey that are of service to the point of depletion day and night, and they're not receiving the abundance they deserve. They're not receiving the recognition that they deserve because they believe they don't need to receive. But the thing, you guys, when we live in a world that's full of light and darkness, we have to recognize the dark aspects, not just the light aspects. Because as a healer, if you always believe you have to be of service and give and not receive, what you're doing is neglecting the divinity within you. You're neglecting who you really are. And the whole point of this journey is not to neglect. The whole point of this journey is to recognize the services you're rendering, the energy that you hold, and also see how sacred and worthy it is in order to receive what you desire. Because the thing, you guys, a lot of people think when you're a healer, like for me, for example, I thought I was a healer and I always had to give, I always had to serve. And I thought that a lot of people would say, oh, you have a spiritual business, but you're charging people. Listen, if you go see a music artist, if you watch all these people on TV, and you think they're worthy of money for their services that they're rendering, which is acting, which is singing, which is playing an instrument, and you think they're worthy of that, what makes you think people who are not doing a service of being of assistance, of healing, doesn't deserve that same in return? It doesn't make any sense to me. Because everyone who's rendering something as an energy, as their presence, Tony Robbins gets the most amount of money in self-development because of his fucking presence. Because he knows his worth. He knows he's not here to save the world. He's here to help people who are ready to save themselves. And that's the thing I want to share with you guys. You are a healer. You are an empath. But mostly you are a multi-dimensional being that's meant to be an example of what people are yet to see within themselves and what people are fearful to become, that it lies within themselves that they have yet to tap into. You don't need to be a healer for everyone. I even have friends currently who want their friends to see the vision that they have. Meaning wanting to start their own business, wanting to actually be of service, and their friends are not going with that vision, and they're upset by that. But I'm like, listen, a lot of us who are healers, who are empathetic and who are caring, we feel guilty for mourning that old version of ourselves because we know we have to let go of certain people. We know we have to let go of things that aren't serving us, habits, thought patterns, people, places, things. And it's hard. It's a little hard because you don't want to be the one to say, I need to receive for the services I render. I need a reciprocation for my presence or for the nurturing that I'm giving you in a relationship. I deserve to be seen and to be heard. And if you're not going to give that to me, I'm going to find new friends. I'm going to get a new relationship. I'm going to start on my own with people who are really going to collaborate with me when it comes to business, friendships, even family and relationships. So as I share all this, you guys, stop being the healer. Be the example that you needed and that you want in the world. And stop trying to save people who are not willing to save themselves, who are not willing to help themselves, who are not willing to see the sacredness that you hold within your presence, within your energy, within your love. Because in doing so, you're going to mourn and feel guilty for shifting, for changing, for elevating, for ascending. You're going to feel a little guilty for that because you know you have to leave behind people who are too scared to elevate with you. But I'm here to tell you that's the process. I watched this girl the other day and I loved how she explained it. She's like, when you have a spiritual awakening, you don't have one. You have to commit to a journey of having multiple awakenings because you're being called to commit to the spirit within you that has a potential to evolve massively, to be something that this world needs. And when she said that, it made me recognize how much it requires letting go, how much it requires setting boundaries, how much it requires to have your presence demand respect, demand reciprocation, demand better, and not in a state of being greedy or being entitled, but in a state of recognizing you know your worth and you know what the fuck you deserve. So you guys, as I share everything with you today, for the people pleasers, empaths, sensitive people, people who are lovers, people who are givers, please stop being the healer. If you're in an abusive relationship, please don't keep being in that relationship if that person's not willing to take accountability for the pain that they're inflicting on you or the triggers that they're not willing to see within themselves. Please let go of friends, even though they may have been long-term friends, because if they're not willing to see your pain, to be there for you, but only feed the toxic part of you, only gossip with you, only try to speak the worst of people, places, things, and judge, you gotta let go of those people. If you're a person who's always hustling, bustling when it comes to business and being of service and always trying to give and not receive, please stop. Because you have to recognize how important your presence is. Please understand, if our divine, if our creator created the sun, the moon, the stars, the animal, the sky, and a thought in neither one of you, that means you have something that will never be duplicated. And that has to be recognized by you in order to receive the life that you want, in order to be the version that you feel you're meant to be. But that requires you mourning, dying the old version of you, letting go, and evolving and committing to that evolvement in your ascension. This is why I call this playlist Embrace the Ascension. Because you have to embrace the evolvement and the growth that you are becoming by mourning, by dying, by releasing the old ways of thinking and being. Because as you heal and start to recognize how divine lives within you, not a lot of people are going to be on that wavelength. Not a lot of people are going to understand. Not a lot of people are going to be ready. Not a lot of lovers are going to be ready to grow with you. But you have to be okay with that. But you have to give yourself permission to be okay. Allowing yourself to grow and not stay stagnant. Because when you think you are the healer, you stay where you don't want to be. This is why you need to stop being the healer and start being the example. Because that's only then when people are going to learn. That's only then when people are going to want to evolve. That's only then when people have to recognize that you're no longer going to tolerate putting up with their bullshit and making excuses for them because they think they're entitled to you. When they're not entitled to you, you have the power to say no. You have the power to take your power back and say, you're not worthy and deserving of this until you step to my level. And that is not being egoic. Being egoic is you thinking that you're entitled to everything and everyone because you think that I am God. No, this is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you will never be duplicated. And you have your own throne to sit on. And therefore, if you know your morals, your values, your integrity, and who you are and what you want, You deserve to have energy reciprocated at the same vibration that you're at, to the point you don't have to lower your standards from places you already have healed and you have already outgrown. So that means your presence is worthy and demanding of what it is that's going to help it elevate even more, and not descend, but rather help you ascend. So you guys, that's what I want to share with you today, is how to stop being the healer and start to being the example of what people need. Not by you being there, but by you expressing to them who you are in order for them to see what you demand. And then they'll see if they want to be on your wavelength or not. It's crazy how this works, you guys. It's crazy how this works. I just went to go see my family. I'm posting this Sunday. It's going to be Monday when I upload this. But I just went to go see my family. And the more I'm elevating and healing, I didn't realize how much on my dad's side of the family, a lot of them are woke, bro. I'm just like, I just got this book from, what was it? My father's sister's husband's sister. I know that's very confusing, but she's all into healing, essential oils, recognizing how the government's not true. I'm like, holy shit, the more I heal and evolve, the more I'm magnetizing people who are on my level. And after my last relationship and old friendships, I can still feel their energy, and I can still feel them watching me. I can still feel them wanting to be in my life, but they know I'm not going to tolerate their shit, because they're at a vibration where they're too scared to grow. They're too scared to evolve. But they're intimidated by my growth and my evolvement because I'm not willing to remain where they are. So you guys, it's crazy how this all works. But it's important for you to stop being the healer. It's important for you to recognize your worth. I don't care what religion says. I don't care what people say. People who don't know their worth will tell you that you don't have no worth. So you have to keep giving. But when you're on this journey and you recognize the sacred power that you hold, you have to understand that you are worth receiving. You are worthy of reciprocation, and you're worthy of people who are going to see your vision and see you and respect you, so you can receive the abundance and opportunities that are meant for you. So other than that, you guys, I really hope this video was of service to you, and if it was, please hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, hit that notification button if you enjoyed this video and enjoy more videos like this. Also in the comment section below, please let me know any video ideas that will help you on your journey or where you're currently at to help you grow and evolve to where you want to be. Other than that, you guys, please go check out my Etsy shop, go check out my merch, my healing course, Awaken Prophecy, and go follow me, my homegirl, on Spotify at Mystifying Reality. But until then, you guys, I love you so much, and I'll see you on the next one. Only love.